Hey grade 8s, happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing well and having a good week so far. I know the weather is nice and thankfully it's hopefully going to continue. And we're finally in June, so we're in the final stretch, guys. So this final month and this final stretch is going to be very much based off of you guys getting ready for high school. I want to make sure I give you all the tools I can so that you are going into grade 9 math being as comfortable and confident as possible. So today we're going to do our review, and then today you're going to be doing something a little bit different. So in Monday's class, we talked about answering questions about the scatter plot, as in, is there positive, negative correlations, finding sets of data on it, as well as estimating where a data point would be. Today, we're actually going to be creating a scatter plot. So first of all, we're going to do the review, and I'm going to discuss the different ways that you can create the scatter plot. First of all, look at our two graphs. Our graph here, where would the line of best fit be? Well, I'm following along more or less with the line of these, with a set of data. So it goes more or less along this route here. What kind of correlation is this? It's going in a downward slant, as in our first numbers here are low. These would be a low value, and this is a high value over here. And it's going increasingly lower. So this would be a low, or sorry, not low, but a negative correlation. And then we have to decide whether or not it's a steep or whether or not it's steep. So in this case, it is pretty steep, that angle is going. So we would call this a high negative correlation. Now, this second graph here, I didn't really talk about it in the last lesson. That was my fault. But if it's scattered all across like this, there isn't any type of line. It just means that there's no correlation. It means that this data is not following any particular pattern. It's just very random. And there we are. So that is our very brief review. Now, for creating a scatter plot, you are going to be given a few different sets of data to choose from. You only have to choose one. I'm going to show you an example on another sheet on the computer, but here's how it's going to work. You can either create it on paper, just pencil and paper, make sure you're using a ruler, make sure you label your axes, make sure you give it a title, and you can just do a random scatter plot on a piece of paper. 100% up to you. The other option you have is on doing on Google Sheets or on Microsoft Excel. I will show you how to do it on Google Sheets on my other slide. I would show you how to do it in Excel, except my Excel doesn't seem to be working properly. Same process though. Excel is, yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same. Very minor, if any, differences. So you're going to be given the data. You can also use your own set of data if you want. If there's some sort of topic you want to look at or you want to use the data for, you're 100% able to. You just have to make sure that type of data works with a scatter plot. So usually something like money and time works really well. So we saw with our examples in your last Monday class, it was like the money spent on the heating bill versus like the amount of hours it was being run. The other ones are, like I've seen, are the temperature outside and the number of ice cream sales by an ice cream truck. So there's lots of different options out there. The one I'm going to show you is height versus shoe size. So those are your different options. If you are on paper, I'm just going to show you guys what the requirements are for this scatter plot. If you want to do it on Google Sheet or Excel, by the way, highly recommend it because all you really have to do is just copy and paste the data in it, and Excel creates the chart for you. All right, so here's what it must have. You must have a title for the graph, you must have an x-axis title, and you must have a y-axis title. You are going to identify whether it has a positive, negative correlation, or no correlation. And you have to have at least 15 data points. The set of data I'm giving you, if you're using that one, you're good to go. This is more if you want to use your own set of data, then you're good to go. All right, so for those of you who want to, for those of you who want to do paper, you are going to be given different options. You just choose one and you create it on paper. You're good to go. Make sure you use a ruler, make sure it's neat, make sure you give it titles. You may scan it and upload it to me, or you may take a picture and send it to me. If you want to do it on Excel sheets, I highly, highly recommend it. Because again, like I said, it makes it for you. It's very easy to do. And I will show you how to do it right now. All right, so to make it on Google Sheets, here I have a random spreadsheet. So here are my different heights, and these are the different shoe size to go with the heights. So all you really have to do is just copy and paste your data in, or you can just type it in really quickly. That's my data. To create a graph, all I do is I click Insert, Chart, and I select a scatter plot. And to use the data, there we are, Insert, Chart, there we are. So sometimes it will make, sometimes it'll just make the chart automatically when you select it. Other times just highlight all the data sets, and then there you go. There's my chart. Took me all of 3 seconds. Now, to edit the chart, to give it titles and stuff like that, you go to Customize. You can choose the style of the chart if you want to change it for some reason. Now you want to go to Chart and Axes Titles. So you can select the different types of titles you want. So the chart title, I'm going to give it height versus shoe size. That's my chart title. For my x-axis, or my horizontal axis, so that's the one around the bottom, the title will be heights. There we go. And now I just go to my vertical axis, and that title will be shoe size. Oops. And there we are. There's my chart. Creates it for me. And it took me all of what, 1 minute to do? Now all I'm going to do for this next part is I'm going to answer the question, is it a positive, negative correlation, no correlation? Well, in this case, it's actually a slight positive, because as you can see, if I were to do a line of best fit, it would more or less go along this line here. Again, lines of best fit will not always fit the data perfectly. In this case, we can have one because there is a slight correlation, because as you can see, those who are shorter tend to have the smallest shoe sizes, and those who are taller tend to have bigger shoe sizes. And of course, there's always outliers. So like this one here might be an outlier and such. But as you can see, there's a slight positive correlation. So I would label this as a low positive correlation. And there we are. So, was there anything else I need to include? I have 15 data points. I have my titles. I identified the type of correlation. There we are. Does not take too long. All right, so you are going to have your data points. If you are doing it on Google Docs, you would obviously just share it with me. If you are doing it on Excel, you can save it as an Excel, and I'll still be able to open it. Or you can actually, if there's actually an option to save it as a PDF and just send me a PDF version of it. If you know how to do that, great, go ahead, do it. If not, don't worry, you can still share with me the Excel. I will still be able to see it, no problem. If you do it on Google, if you do it on Google Sheets, you can just share it with me. So obviously there won't be any Google form today just because there's no way to create a chart like this on Google form. But this is more or less what you're going to do. So you're going to have your data points, you type them in, you create scatter plot. That's it. Label the type of correlation, and there you go. So I just did the work for today in about less than 5 minutes. So it might take you guys a little bit longer. Just this is only because like I know how to use Google so well and Sheets so well, and I've already typed in the data ahead of time. But there you go. So that's what you're going to be doing today. And if you have any questions about it, if you have trouble with the sheet or anything like that, again, if it doesn't make the chart for you right away, just select one, then you click on it and then highlight them all, and then you select insert chart and it'll make it for you. All right, so that's it for today. Email if you have any questions, and otherwise I will see you guys on Friday.